Hello everyone and welcome to another Forex market weekly analysis video. I hope you had a good week trading last week. It was quite rough, to be honest, for me. There was quite a few losses due to the higher volatility and spikes in the market, especially on the pairs that I was trading. I guess you could call it unlucky, or I don't know what it was, but I mean, yeah, it was quite a rough week. So going into the next week, there's not too much that I'm looking at, to be honest. I've gone over some in my blog already. I think there's 2 trades that I'm looking at for next week. And yeah, so we'll be starting off on EURAUD. So this is an uptrend at the moment. If we zoom out, you can see clear uptrend. If we use the pitchfork tool and sort that out. So that's about right. But you can see we've got touches here, nearly touched there, got a touch here, and it's following this line right here. So we got a bounce off there a few weeks ago, I think it was, or a week ago. So it's 2nd of Jan, it's actually a month ago. And then we've had a really nice move to the upside. We actually got a trade in, I think it was here, last time, due to coming down to these levels here, entered here, and I think we got out up here. I mean, if you held on, that's a really nice trade, but if you didn't, I mean, still a nice trade. There's actually not much that I'm looking at here, to be fair. I mean, if we break these highs, then we could be looking at up to around this area here. So we'll see what happens next week, depending on the close and everything, because I mean, if you see this here, big move up here, massive wick and then down. So you don't want to be entering along. If it breaks these highs here, you don't want to be entering along there, because you're just going to get caught out. So the same could happen here. If we come up to this area here, you could expect a downward move. So right in there. That could actually be quite a nice trade. But yeah, we'll see what happens next week. So EURCAD. There's actually not much going on here. If we break this here, so let me just put this on here. So we could come up here to this kind of area around here, and then go down again, or if we break, we might be looking for a pullback and then we can enter in long again. So that could be an interesting trade, maybe around this level here. So you could be entering a short right here, and that could be quite a nice trade for next week. EURJPY. So we've come down to this level here, although there's quite a bit of volatility and quite large wicks. So this one here, we've got some wicks around here, we've got this here. So there's quite a bit of room for price to move around. So it could be quite risky to enter now. I'd wait and see what happens over the next week, because price could come straight through that area and just come down and possibly even retest here, or even here. So yeah, I'd wait and see what happens next week. I think it probably will break through, just because we've already bounced here a few times, and the previous move to the upside wasn't too great. There was a nice candle here, but this candle right here, the bearish one, is strong as well. So I'd expect prices to break through here, maybe get a retest of some sort, and then come back down to these levels around here. So EURJPY. I think this could actually be a short trade. There's been a trend line break, I imagine. Yep. So if we come back up here, retest it, and then we can head for a move downwards. There could, well, I don't know, because it's been consolidating around here, which shows that there's not too much that price, it's not showing that price wants to move higher. So that could be an indication that we just move straight lower from now and we don't get a retest. But again, I'd wait and see what happens. If price actually breaks down here, breaks this low, I probably would enter. So this is what it would look like. So you put your limit order there, you put your stop above those highs, and then you'd put your take profit. I would probably put mine here at these lows here, or you could put them at these lows, or if you thinking it's really going to go down, you could put them around here at these lows. But I mean that's quite a big trade. Considering that this is on the daily, yeah, that's quite a large trade. And it would be a nice trade because it's actually got a really close stop compared to your take profit. So it depends on what you would want to do in terms of risk and whether you actually want to hold a trade for that long. But I would expect price to move somewhere around here, or at least come back to a certain area before moving down again around this area. EURNZD. So there's actually not too much going on here at the moment, to be honest. We've come up to this area here, which has had multiple touches in the past. So if we come up here and we get some sort of consolidation, then I'll be looking to take a short trade. It's not a clear market, like it's very choppy, it's not really moving in any direction. So it depends on what you guys want to trade, but that could be a trade that you have a look at over the next week, and it could actually be a nice Fibonacci trade. 618 is right there as well, so that's actually really nice, almost bang on. So yeah, that could be a nice trade. Although your stop loss could be quite large, depending on where you want to put it, because you could put it, above these highs, this one here, but then you've got all of this. So then are you putting it all the way up here, or are you putting it here to give it some clearance from this high, and how much further? So if you're going for a 1-to-1, it's not a great trade considering how much price moves. So personally, I would probably put my stop loss here and then test these lows here, and you're getting a 3.25 risk to reward ratio, which is good. EURUSD, so there's a short here that could come into play next week. So as you can see, we're in a downtrend, and there's two areas here. There's this one, and then there's this one, and personally I think it's going to be the bottom one, so this one here. So it could be either of those, to be honest. Let's put Fibonacci and see where it goes. So 618 is here, but that's still quite a large area that you're going to be looking at. So what I've done is, it's very messy. Let me just delete some of the lines on here. So what I've done is placed a fib from here to here, and then there's three kind of levels that I'm looking at. So one is in here, coming straight through. The next one is up here, and the last one is here. And I would probably expect price to come through this level. It could turn, or we could just get a retest, come back down and go higher. But I would be entering here, just because if you put your limit order at this one and price comes lower, you've missed out on a good trade. If it turns here and your limit order's up here and it ends up being a good trade, how much is that worth to you? So if you just reduce your risk by a little bit and enter on this one and put your stop loss at the high, it's still a good trade. I've done for quite a large return on that. just due to the fact that we've been making lower lows, and it's also a symmetrical move from here to here, and then from here to here. So it seems like quite a nice trade that could happen next week or the week after, considering how much we have got to move. It depends on how much the market actually moves during that week due to volatility. GBPAUD, this is actually a really nice trade. I didn't have to have my stop loss all the way up here, just because things are lining up quite well and price could just move exactly where I want it to move. So Fibonacci from here down to this low here, which is the big move. Then we got one coming up here, which is the 0.705 Fibonacci. And then if we zoom in, you can see from this high to this low, the same Fibonacci level that's here. And I've drawn a little green box inside of that. So from this Fibonacci to this Fibonacci is where I'll be entering the market. You can see the massive wick right here going straight through it, but we're coming up to this area right now. I'll be entering right here, stop loss above the high, and then we've got a nice little move down to these lows right here. So could be quite a nice trade. Could take quite a while, considering that from here to here it's taken 2 months about. So you could be sitting in this one for quite a long time, but still a nice trade. GBPCAD. So it's kind of the same thing really. We've got some highs up here that we could be looking at. So they could be quite a nice shorting opportunity, but we've already bounced off this level quite a few times, and the move down from this level isn't too much, so price could break, come up to these highs instead, and then go lower, or we could go here. So if you're thinking about entering here, I'd probably use minimum risk. Let's see what the Fibonacci is on this. Okay, so yeah, I'd probably enter in this area right here if you are going to enter it. And again, I'd use minimum risk. So entry around here. Stop loss I'd probably put at this Fibonacci level here, and then down to this. So 6 risk to reward ratio, which is a really nice trade, and it might not even take too long considering the move down from this level, the move down from here. So yeah, that could actually be quite a nice trade that could happen maybe next week or at the start of the following week after that. We'll see what happens. GBPJPY. There's not much that I'm looking at here, to be honest. We could see a shorting opportunity around here. So let me just put that in. Although that is quite a large area. So depending on what you want to do, you could enter right at the bottom, or you could wait for price to come lower and then enter on the breakout. But that could be quite a nice trade as well for next week, so we'll see what happens. GBPNZD. So this has actually come up to a price area right here, which I'm waiting to see what actually happens, because we've already had price turn here really nicely. So I mean, if you entered right there, you've got a really, really nice trade. This one came through, got some wicks, and then turned lower. But again, didn't turn lower as good as this move over here. But yeah, we'll see what happens. So price coming back up, we could just break it. Just because of this. This isn't very promising, to be honest, for a short that you're going to take. You don't want to be sitting in that for a month, just watching price go up and down. So I'd probably leave that alone, and just move on to the next trade. GBPUSD. Again, there's not really much happening here, to be honest. It's not like the other pairs that are moving nice and clean. We've got really heavy choppiness going on, and I'm not really a fan of seeing that at a level. I'd rather see a nice clean move like this. So yeah, I'm not even going to have a look at that, to be honest. USDCAD, not really doing much, to be honest, but we could get a short in here, in this area, because we've had price move from this area and come down. There might actually be a Fibonacci 618, so if we just move that, that will probably be a sniper entry, to be honest, because I mean, if you're getting in there and you're just getting the wicks, it's going to be quite a nice trade. So I'd put my limit order in there. I'd probably put my stop loss here just due to this. You don't want to get tagged out and it moves down like that. And then right there, nice and easy. 3 to 1 risk reward. Nice trade. USDJPY. There was actually a trade that I got in here. I think it was this one. And I had my stop loss. So if we have a look at this, so I think I entered on this bar. Stop loss above this high, and then TP down there somewhere, and got stopped out, and then bang, moved down. Really unfortunate, to be honest, because it was a nice trade. Yeah, whatever, you move on. That's kind of all the markets that I'm looking at. Going back on that now, there's actually quite a few trades that could happen next week, but there's 2 ones that I'm looking at for early next week, or during the midweek, Tuesday, Wednesday. And I've gone over those on the blog. If you want to have a look at those, you can. I've put the link in the description. I go over more detail in the actual trades and having a look at everything. I've also used a new trading setup, as in like what it looks like, the trading charts. Let me know if you find this easier to actually view than the other ones before. It'll be good to see what you guys think of this. I'm not 100% on it, but I quite like how the order blocks that I use stand out a bit more than on the white. So let me know what you think. And yeah, there's quite a few trades, so let me know if you found any of these useful, or if you found them in your own analysis, because it'll be good to see what you guys are doing at the markets. So yeah, remember to like and subscribe, and go over to the blog, check out those, and I'll see you next week.